Well, third time's the charm, I hope. So I tried to do this directly to the website and then cross-load it. Don't have a strong enough signal for whatever reason, so I'm gonna have to actually record it, upload it to YouTube, and then cross-load it that way. Which means I can only record in a vertical position. And I really didn't want to have to do this more than once. Alright, so some of y'all noticed. Some of y'all have gone and read what I published yesterday. Got some kudos on it. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. I really do. Always love the feedback, whether it's critiquing and ways to improve or it's just encouragement altogether. But you guys could tell I was in a good mood. And I had fun. Not so much today. Yeah, I started out on a okay mood, I guess. But it's steadily gone downhill. So, I want to say Wednesday, maybe it was Thursday, somewhere during the week, Biden came out, I actually think it was Wednesday, and said that with the withdrawal, there is no way that the Taliban can take over Afghanistan. He said that we've been there for 20 years, we've trained the Afghan military, we've trained the Afghan law enforcement. They have the tools, the means, and the training to defend their country. Thursday, his secretary of, it wasn't the Secretary of State, it was Secretary of something, maybe Foreign Affairs, I don't know. Some dumbass who doesn't know what he's talking about. Came out the day after, which I think is Thursday. Maybe it was Friday, I'm not entirely sure. But he was saying, no, it had to be Friday because it was late in the evening when I got back Thursday. Anyway, he was saying we're not going to have another Saigon. There's no way. Yeah, guess what we got? So, yeah, I've seen online on social media today the videos that are coming out of Iraq, out of Afghanistan. Okay, I'm over here on the East Coast, so Eastern Standard Time. Some point in time, there was a live video feed with President, Prime Minister, whatever he was supposed to be, the guy in charge of Iraq. I boarded a Chinook with all of his leadership or whatnot and was hightailing it out of there. He's not standing with his troops. He's not encouraging his troops. He said, this is a lost cause. I'm out. I'm saving myself. And I believe he was going to Iran, of all places. And then earlier this afternoon, mid-afternoon, somewhere around there, start seeing video come out. Biden had already said earlier in the week, we aren't going to see helicopters transporting embassy personnel off of the roof. Well, guess what we saw? Live footage, recorded footage, because it was shared over and over and over again. 2 Chinooks took off the roof of our embassy in Kabul. I believe it was sometime late last night. Taliban was less than 2 hours from Kabul. Earlier this morning, again, Eastern Standard Time, we were notified Kabul was surrounded and cut off. Late morning, early afternoon, Taliban had started entering the outskirts of Kabul and going into Kabul. So after we pull 3,500 troops out of Afghanistan, President stated earlier this week he was sending 3,000 back in order to help with the evacuation of our embassy. A day or two after that, it was 5,000 that were going in. So we pulled 3,500 out to send 5,000 back in to help with an evacuation. That wasn't even supposed to be a major problem. Seems like it became one overnight. You see, I was active duty in the military from 2001 until 2007. Summer of 2006, because I was aircraft maintenance. My fighter squadron was deployed to Qatar. Qatar is like Club Med for the Middle East. It's actually where a lot of the Army and the Marine guys come when they need R&R before going back out into the field. But the reason our jets were stationed there was because we were flying close air support missions for both Iraq and Afghanistan, and that was actually pretty centrally located. It's a good launch point, or so we were told. I've seen and heard from some guys on social media, veterans like myself. They're heavily drinking. Some of them have even acknowledged that they shouldn't be. It's a problem. There's others that are reaching out because they're trying to not swallow a bullet. I kind of know how they feel. I've had guys reach out that weren't combat vets either, but they were over there. A lot of our veterans are asking, why did we do it? Why did we put ourselves through this? The price we paid going over there, sacrifices we made, some physical, some with their lives completely. Others, it was time with their family. And they're asking, why'd we do it? It wasn't worth it. This in no way, shape, or form is a depiction of what our military is capable of. Let me say that right now. This is what happens when you have stuffed suits umpteen thousand miles away, trying to tell people and direct people who have no idea about anything when it comes to warfare. These are the same people who would not give clear goals to declare victory. Even though they kept wanting to tell us in the news and tell us while we were over there that we were winning and we were doing what we were supposed to be doing. Nobody over there knew what our goals were. My squadron was there for the guys on the ground. Did they know why they were there? Probably not. Many of them were doing what they were told to do, and then they were doing their damnedest for the guy next to them. I texted my son the other day. He's about to turn 21. He's in the Marine Corps. I asked if his unit was in line to be going over there. He said no. His exact response was no, unfortunately. Spoken like a true Marine. But it's not just that. He gave the answer that I would have given. You see, when I got to my first duty station in 2002, my first permanent duty station out of tech school, I kept volunteering and asking to go over to Iraq or Afghanistan, either one. I kept being told no. I wanted to go. That was why I had enlisted, was to go. Now, I didn't enlist because of 9/11. I was actually on a delayed enlistment. My paperwork and everything was signed and done before 9/11. I shipped out for basic 10th of October. It took me from 2001 to 2006 to actually go over there because I kept being denied. Was it worth it? I don't know. Going to Korea cost me my family. I was over there by myself, 2004 to 2005. Still, when I heard that we were leaving Germany to go to the Middle East, I was excited. It was what I had been wanting to do. Go and fight for my country. Do everything I could to make sure that my kids would not have to worry about them coming over here, or, if at all possible, that my kids would never have to worry about going to war. And I got one that followed right into my footsteps. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of him. I'm very proud of him. Whether he knows it or not, he's carried on a family tradition. One of his grandfathers was in the Marine Corps. Our veterans in our active duty military, those who've gone over there, those that are still serving, those who've gotten out, whether they got out willingly or they got out on a medical separation or whatever else, this isn't an easy time for them. Here in Charleston, or in the Charleston area, we've got Berkeley, Dorchester, and Charleston County right here. Tri-County, Low Country, so on, so on, so on. We have a lot of retired military. Charleston Air Force Base is here. Actually in North Charleston, but it's here. It's what we like to term a retirement base. A lot of the guys who come here end up being stuck here until they retire. Or they come here because they're retired. So we have a lot of retirees here. We used to have the Naval Shipyard, but they pulled that out, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. We still have a Marine depot, a couple of guard stations, we've got a Coast Guard station here as well. So, yeah, we've got all kinds of mixed retired military here. Most of the guys my age, people sit there and tell you thanks for your service, buy you a drink at the bar. You'll run into another vet, start swapping stories, things like that. Online's totally different. A few days ago I was online and had some snot-nosed punk hiding behind a keyboard call me a baby killer. It's on my profile that I served. Didn't really faze me. I was like, okay, whatever. But now I'm seeing more and more of it. And you know, even when these people go online and do this, I think they call it trolling. I don't know, I'm an old fart. First of all, I can't help but wonder why. They're not willing to stand up for anything. They expect everything to be handed to them. But when you hear it a certain number of times, or you see it, or maybe it's just me, it kind of starts getting to you. But then I started thinking, this still can't even give me a taste of what it was like for the guys from Vietnam who came home. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd say it was probably about 10 years ago. I started looking at what was going on over there and all that stuff. I was still active duty, and a lot of the guys that I was serving with, when we talked about it, we were like, this is going to end up being our Vietnam. We've gone through how many commanders? We've been there for how long? We don't know what we're doing over there. All of this is the same stuff the guys who were in Vietnam were talking about. Why are we here? What are we doing? What is it going to take for a victory? What's the goal? And then they came home. Seeing and hearing about, or actually being there for the fall of Saigon. They came home to a world that they didn't know, they didn't recognize. Guys, I've been out since 2007, and I don't even recognize it anymore. I don't know what's going on. I was one of the lucky ones. I thought I was doing fine. I turned around within a few months and had a job working as a state security officer. And went from there to work EMS. Knew that something wasn't quite right. And I figured I just needed to get away from some of that. I decided to go out into the street. That's where I got injured. Which some say is a blessing in disguise, because that injury is what led to finding a tumor. But like I said, I've been home since 2007. I have bounced all around this area. Charleston County, Berkeley County, Dorchester County. I've moved a few times. I don't even recognize this place anymore. And I've been here. These guys that are coming back now, especially the ones who've been over there for a year, everything about this, for our active military and our veterans, everything about this, when you go and you look at it, it's just like Vietnam. You're coming home, your government doesn't trust you. Depending on who your neighbors are, they don't like you. They don't want you around, and there's no good reason for it. And then you turn on the TV, and you see that all the sacrifices you made, friends, family, time with family, to accomplish something that you didn't even know what it was supposed to be, is thrown in your face as somebody else flushes it down the toilet. I haven't even turned on the news today. I've been on social media a few times. It's right there in my face. And even though this whole situation is just so much like Vietnam, at the same time, a lot of us kind of still have it better. We'll be attacked online. We'll be attacked in the news media. We'll be attacked by other kids verbally. But the chances of it being in our face, at least for now, are very slim. But the real problem is seeing this on the news and hearing it. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of civilians who support the military and thought we were doing something good, hoped that we were accomplishing something. It's kind of hit them. It may have dampened their mood. But they still don't know what it's like for the guys who are over there. who thought they were doing something, who made sacrifices. I can't remember if I said this or not. I've seen posts and comments and videos from people online, on social media, veterans talking about their drinking. They're not supposed to be drinking. They're alcoholics. They were in recovery. They've got medication they're not supposed to be drinking with, but they're drinking anyway. They're drinking heavily. They're struggling. They're in a very dark place. There's even some of them who've come out and said, I'm trying to not eat a bullet. But at the same time, they want to. Hell, this is just seeing it today. The political leaders of Afghanistan fleeing, leaving their troops, leaving their people, let alone their troops. No direction, no encouragement, no hope. They just said, this is lost. It's time for me and my party to get out. Seeing the embassy being evacuated, and it keeps getting pushed to more and more and more of a rush. You're not gonna be seeing helicopters leaving the roof of the embassy. This is not Saigon, said Biden. This video today of 2 helicopters, 2 Chinooks, leaving the roof of the embassy, evacuating staff. Hell, somebody went online and put a picture of Saigon with a Chinook leaving the roof to the 2 Chinooks leaving the roof over in Kabul. A couple differences in the materials on the building, construction materials of the building. Fence has a different look to it. Other than that, you wouldn't know the difference. If you're an aircraft maintainer, you can see slight differences in the Chinooks. But a lot of people still wouldn't be able to see the difference. And then here's something else. I'm also seeing videos that the Taliban themselves are posting. Humongous weapons caches. U.S. military equipment. Brand spanking new. They're just opening up boxes and crates. They now have 2 helicopters that they've put in serviceable order and are flying around. 2 Black Hawks. There's rumors that they're working on something that the Russians left over there, or they purchased from the Russians, I don't know. These guys have taken to the sky. There's videos of caravans of MRATs and Humvees that they've taken. Completely in working order. Just handed to them. Here. Don't worry about your 20-year-old AK. Don't worry about your 40-year-old RPG. We've got laws. We've got shoulder-mounted heat seekers for you. We got thousands and thousands of crates of M4s. Not even M16s, M4s. You know, Biden was partially right. His little secretary of whatever, he was partially right. This isn't the fall of Saigon. This is far, far worse. They were armed before, but we seriously rearmed them. Did you wonder why your OIF, OEF veterans are struggling? It's not their fault. They were just following orders. They were just doing what they were told. About an hour or so ago, I saw a post from drunken Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. We need to work together with our allies. We need to work together with our allies and with Afghanistan to make sure all the work that we did for the schools and the women's rights and so on, and protect the women over there. There is no Afghanistan to work with. Our allies pulled out long before we did. So who in the hell are you talking